been fortunate enough to be part of the Silicon Valley, and through the different phases that we've all faced here. And I've been over 25 years in the industry, and certainly I'm very proud of how HR has evolved over the years to become very much more of a business partner, aligned to the business. And I think as the challenges grow in the industry, it's become more apparent, if it wasn't before, that at the heart of all of that is talent. And I believe that the HR function can offer a lot to businesses to help not only bring in great talent, but also come up with plans and facilitate the retention of great talent and growth within the organization. So I've seen a real evolution here. But for me, I think a couple of things that have become really critical over the years, and I think it's just more reinforced it, if you will. I believe absolutely that if you're going to create a great company and thrive, it's all about the talent in the organization, and it's about supporting that talent. And you do that through trust, through building an organization of authenticity, and building an organization of accountability. And for me, I've always believed that the culture of the company and the value system that's in place is important. But the thing that changed for me a little bit is, a lot of times people will say, we want to keep the culture as it is, we don't want it to change. I believe, and I know at Coupa we believe very strongly in this, is that we want the culture to evolve. In fact, we push for that. Any new person we bring on board, we believe is going to be additive and help us shift the culture, evolve and shift the culture a little bit. As we grew internationally, it definitely changed. So we are very much excited about an evolution of the culture. What we don't want to do is change the value and the core value system that has made us special. And so we do a lot of work around our core values and really dig into those and what they mean. And those core values can take us to 5, 10, 15, 20,000 employees beyond. But what I've learned is you have to let go of some of the ways you do things and let the culture kind of evolve on its own. And when you try and hold on to the culture too much, I think sometimes you start retaining practices that may not be right for the company at a certain stage. However, what you can't do is lose the essence of what's really important and really put a stake in the ground on what those things are and make sure that those are at the forefront. And that's something for me, I become so passionate around it, because I think it makes a huge difference in the growth of a company. We have 3 values that we talk about a lot, and within those values we dig deep, right? And with examples. And one is customer success, right? It's about whether it be an external customer or internal customer. It's not about satisfying customers. A lot of companies can do that. It's about helping and assisting companies to be successful. And what does that mean? It means having the right metrics in place, being the expert to help those companies evolve, and holding ourselves and them accountable for that to be successful. And that means sometimes challenging conversations, but thoughtful conversations. And that could be with an external customer or internal customer. Our second value is focus on results. It's about putting results out there as the milestone in which you're trying to achieve. And it's not, and we try and minimize processes and groupthink and all those things that sometimes companies do to slow things down, and really focus on what are we trying to accomplish and what is the best way to get there, and what are the resources we need to get there. So in every meeting, and anytime you're in a meeting at Coupa, or 95% of the time, you're going to hear, what are you trying to achieve? What are the results? And what is the best way that we can help you get there? We don't want to talk a lot about the processes and all the things that in between, because we expect people and employees are going to get there. The last thing is strive for excellence. Is we're never, keep on striving, right? We can always learn, we can always get better, and admit that, and be open to that. And if you make a mistake, be accountable, because we all are going to make mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes. And it's about striving to get better and constantly be trying to learn. And we put a lot of things in place to help employees with that. We believe Coupa is a platform for personal and professional growth, and the spirit of being a learner is absolutely critical. And some of the underlying things underneath that, again, is authenticity, it's accountability, it's respect, and it's clarity. And for us, I've been here about almost 6 years, and those have been a guiding post that we're very passionate about. And I think it's a key component to what's made us successful. We take hiring very seriously, not only for Coupa, but also for the candidates that we're interviewing. We want to make sure that we're being very clear about the environment they're coming into, because our ultimate goal is for them to come here and be successful. And if somebody comes on board and they're not clear about Coupa and who we are and how we work, and they're a failure, that's a failure on our part, and that's not a good thing. So we do have some methods and some ways that we go about this to make sure that we're being very clear on who we are, and as a company, what we will expect from people. And B, we also talk to them a lot about what their expectations and how they like to work. And it's really important to spend that time up front ensuring that there is that fit. One of the things we talk a lot about is that certainly what's critical is you want to find somebody that has the functional expertise to do the job you're interviewing for. And that's a given. But what is even more important is to make sure that they're individuals that can thrive in the environment that we're in, and also help us evolve and be additive to that environment. So that's an absolutely critical thing. We do a lot of workshops around this to help managers, as they hire people and scale to assess that for sure. When we hire people, one of the things that we want to make sure of, regardless of the role that they're in, and whether it be an entry-level role or a more senior role in the organization, we want to hire people, and we make a conscious effort to hire people that have a creative mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. And when I say that, what I mean is they're curious. They want to look at options and new and innovative ways of doing things, whether it be somebody within the HR function in regards to compensation, or the way we do benefits, or the way we do hiring. We know the basic way to do it. So what we're looking for is somebody that's going to come in with some new ideas and ways to look at it a little bit differently. And I think it's the same across the organization. And I don't know if you can teach it, but what I think you can do is support it. And what I mean by that is allowing people the ability to think out of the box. In fact, push that as part of the agenda, is in conversations with employees, say, this is the way we've done it. However, think of new ways, and we're okay with you making mistakes. We're okay with you fumbling a little bit over this, but we really want you to think out of the box and come up with ideas. And you need to create a safe environment where people can do that. So it's not so much a skill we train, it's more of creating an environment that supports that. And we talk a lot about that in our management training courses, is that allow people the flexibility to think out of the box and to kind of bring you along, if you will, in new ways of doing things. Because often what will happen is, particularly as you get under stress and the company's growing really fast, people will bring up new ideas, and sometimes the first reaction is, oh, that's just going to be time consuming to think through that. Our view is that time is well worth spent, because you're going to get some kernels of data and information and new ways of doing things that are going to actually be phenomenal. At Coupa, often when I interview employees, they ask me, tell me about the culture and how you work and work-life balance. And I kind of chuckle a little bit, because work-life balance is a hard thing to define, right? But what we talk about at Coupa, and it's been like this since I got here, is really we believe in work-life integration. And what that means is we hold people accountable to get the work done. If they can do it in 8 hours or 5 hours, it really depends on the outcome that they can achieve. And if during the day they have engagements or things that they need to do to kind of round out their life and support their family, we're not going to monitor that. We're open to that. So it's really about integrating their lives, work life, and making sure that the outcomes for everybody are positive. So we've always had that philosophy, and I think that's going to become even more important for companies as we evolve over the next year or two. It's not about an 8 to 5 sitting in the chair and clocking in anymore.